Today we have the digital marketing wizard. No, it's not Harry Potter. We have Mr. Dustin Bland with us. Dustin, you've been in my life because we were connected in a company.
Right.
You have so much amazing experience in the digital world, and why you turned so many heads not only was your age, because you are a young man, but also you did some really big things and are continuing to do really big things in the digital space, social media space. And we absolutely freaking love it. But I know there's a lot of people out here going, I need to grow my brand. I need to know what he's doing. Instagram is your jam. And so we're going to talk about kind of your expertise, and we're going to talk about your story because you have an incredible story. And then we're going to just go from the hip, because I think there's a lot of fun things we can talk about today, and definitely our listeners or viewers can get a piece of it. So who is Dustin Bland? Let's start from the beginning. Where are you from, Dustin, and how the heck did you get started? You were from corporate America.
Sure.
Corporate America to multiple marketing. What happened?
First of all, thanks for having me. You know that I adore you. Like, we talk 24/7. Like, you're one of my favorite people. So I'm excited to be on here. I'm honored to be on here. Okay, who's Dustin Bland? Wow, what a loaded question. Let's start with, okay, I did what I thought I was supposed to do right out of high school. I went to college. I went to Indiana University here in Indiana, which is where I'm from, and got my degree, jumped right into corporate America, worked in human resources for almost 9 years. It was a great industry for me because I knew who was in trouble. I knew how much money people were making. I had all the tea, right? So I loved working there, but I was just getting by. And it was like, I had a good living, but I wasn't saving anything. I didn't feel like I was growing. And I felt like, since I really had to step into my power in college and get my degree and get moving, it's a huge reality check. I felt like I was at that point. It's like I had matured some, but not enough. I felt like if I stayed where I was going to stay where I was. So I'd seen a couple of people online doing network marketing, people from my high school. They were making crazy amount of money. One of them was a nurse practitioner. She was like quitting her job. I'm like, this has got to be illegal. What are they doing? Right? Like, not really just quitting their job. They were making tons of money, money shows. So it was like, my eyes were open to it. And, they introduced me to the world of network marketing. It was something I knew nothing about. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. It was like, I was like 28 years old before I really even knew what an entrepreneur was. I went to business school, but opportunities weren't as vast back then as they are now. It's like you had to have storefronts and you had to have all this capital and you had to be able to, have all this business credit. But nowadays it's just like things are so different, So it's like, for me, like, it really opened my eye up to the umbrella of network marketing and of entrepreneurship, all of the things that you can do and all of the avenues that you can take. So really, that's how I got into it, just seeing other people succeed and knowing that, like, where I was probably wasn't going to get me to where they were, and being open to something different than what I thought I was supposed to do.
I think there was a lot of key points that you said there. Number one, let's talk about doing something different. I think a lot of people get stuck in the mentality of, you got to go to school, you got to do all these things, right? Like, I did that with marriage.
Sure.
I also went to school and I graduated with a degree and I did not use it, but that's okay. But what we do is we're told to do a certain thing. Like, that's the way we do it because that's what mom and dad like, or that's what society likes. But when we go into the world of network marketing, and although this isn't a network marketing podcast, obviously it got me to where I am. It got you to where you are. We want to celebrate it. So we want to talk about, why the heck, do some people see this opportunity? And you came in at a perfect time. So the digital age was just starting when I got started in network marketing. So Facebook was brand new. I hated Facebook. Okay. I was like, man. And now I do very well on Facebook. Facebook is my jam. It's my age group. You're a little bit younger than me. So your age group was the Instagram era. Instagram came out and what you did. And so, which is incredible. And why I said heads turned when you showed up, because not only were you young, you were doing what no one was doing yet, network marketing. Network marketing stays very old school, and it still struggles to get into the digital age. We still see people doing parties and the old school stuff. You also brought up storefronts and overhead. So when we come into this time where lots of companies are starting to grasp, okay, social media is a big deal. Finally, they're grasping it. You jump in at perfect timing. You get a little bit of experience under your belt, and then you master Instagram, okay? And what you did on Instagram is the reason, and I'm going to say this because it's in your bio, I want people to know. You created an organization of over 80,000 people. Okay. 80,000 rock star right here. You created 4 millionaires on social media alone. And you now own a digital marketing company, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, which is super important, because why I think people need to know who you are is like, you are a person that people need to understand is really important if you're trying to build a brand, a business, and expand yourself. And a lot of people don't do it right. They don't know how. People like me have spent tens of thousands of dollars doing dumb things and get no results. So when we grasp onto this, you created millionaires, you created thousandaires, which I think is more important. And you did it using social media. So let's talk about being an entrepreneur, a young man, creating millionaires, becoming a millionaire.
Sure.
How did you handle that? Be honest.
I'll be honest with you. For me, it was like, it happened really quick. You know, I was going from making my salary in corporate America to, I remember when I got my first $10,000 check for the week and being like, you know, just paralyzed by it almost. Like, what do I even do with that amount of money? And like, not even knowing how to like go to the bank and act normal. I felt like I was doing something wrong. So it was just so fast. I think that more than anything though, through that process and like just experiencing it and really not having anyone to experience it with. Because while like you and other people had already experienced it, I didn't know that at the time. Because for me, it happened so quick. I thought I was like the only one, you know? So, and I had all these people at that point looking at me for mentorship, and I was still brand new, you know? So I didn't know anything, you know, but it forced me to be a leader. It forced me to step up. It forced me to become a student. And more than anything, I think that that's what catapulted me. It forced me to learn from other people, to know that I didn't know it all, right? And have that reality check over and over and over again. Because, you know, I'll be honest with you, it did blow my ego up because I was making such crazy money so quickly that you couldn't tell me nothing, right? And that's just the honest truth. Like, I thought I knew it because even the people who had brought me in, you know, I did it quicker, you know, like it was such a reality check. And looking back on it now, I can see all the things that I'm like, okay, there's where you really went through the growing pains of, it was growing pains because it was hard for you. Like, all the money in the world doesn't make you happy, right? So I wasn't being fulfilled, but I saw so many people, entrepreneurs within that industry at the time and outside of the industry, that were just struggling, right? Like they had the mindset of like, I'm willing to show up and I'm willing to do things, but the things that they were being told to do or the things that they were doing, just, they were never going to make the sales. And I think that once I was able to zoom out of my own organization and out of my own paycheck and even out of the industry, as a whole, I was able to see all the gaps, all of the people who didn't even understand. And some of these people were making millions of dollars, right? But did not understand what it meant to create a brand and what that looked like, and that they were already creating a brand, whether they knew it or not. And some of those brands were really bad, even though they were making millions of dollars, right? Because people underneath them understood the power of branding out. But then there were other people that were okay, but could be so much better. But they didn't realize that they were creating that brand already, or that they were already being exposed to thousands of brands per day. And if they would just stop and take a look at like, oh wait, Shylo is also Shylo, but she's also a brand, right? And that brand can be whoever she wants it to be online, as long as she writes that narrative correctly. So I think for me, really stepping into my digital marketing company, it was like, I saw the humongous gap in the industry of like, these people do not know what they're doing, right? And it wasn't about, they just needed someone to take them by the hand and be like, look, you're already building a brand. You just have to make it make sense. Because to the outside world, all that I see is you love these products and you're making tons of money. And I don't know how to correlate that into my life. So it was like showing them how to tell stories better, if that makes sense. And I think that there's just this humongous gap of people, whether they're making good money or not. There are a lot of people with really bad hands, right, that are making a bunch of money because they have other people in their organization who get it, right, and who are good at branding. So I just think that seeing that massive gap, and maybe I'm going off into, you know, I'm a talker, so you'll have to cut me out. It's just, I think that there were so many people that just needed that leg up, right? They know how to ride the horse, but they weren't getting onto the saddle correctly, if you will. You know, they just They were there, but they weren't. And that's what really catapulted me to step outside of just that industry that I was in, network marketing, and it opened my eyes because that's what got me to a millionaire, right? I thought it was supposed to be just in corporate America. And then I was like, wait a second, where I am isn't where I want to be. Let me just open my eyes and hear about other opportunities. And that created a millionaire, right? And then I got to that stagnant point again where I'm like, wait a second, this isn't what's going on. Am I supposed to, just all these what ifs. And I'm like, okay, well, let me do what I did last time and let me just open my eyes. And that's what I did. And that's what really opened up the digital marketing world for me.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that you talked about in there. It's interesting because when people don't embrace change very well. So it took a lot of people a long time to even embrace social media and what it could do for them. I still see old school entrepreneurs, not network marketers, that do not even embrace social media. I'm like, and you're still making millions and billions.
Right.
Imagine if you utilized it properly. And see, this is something I own. Like, I'm not good on Instagram. That's why I have you. And that's why I have to ask for help, because it's just a little bit different. Like, what I'm used to is a little bit sloppier, but my brand in general is kind of like Hot Mess Express, right? Like, I want to show people that you can be anyone, anywhere, and still build $1 million business and beyond. And that's what got me in the door, is because I was relatable. And what happens when you grow and become an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you can become very unrelatable very quickly, because what you think people want to hear is not what they want to hear. People do not want to hear how you have a private jet that in your private jet and you rented.
Right.
We're going to talk about this because there's some things that drive.
I'm here for it.
We're going to talk about charity and what people do and shouldn't do. Because this got brought up the other day, and I was like, oh my God, we have to talk about that because it drives me bonkers. But you get people who get fast success. So you got fast success. When you're giving somebody $10,000, $20,000 a week, $100,000 a month, that is a lot of income, okay? And that's more income than most people make in a year. So all of a sudden, you get somebody who's making $30,000 a year or more, and then all of a sudden they're making crazy money, and they're young, and even under 40 is young for any of that. And so it's like, what do? I bought a G-Wagon. Should I have? No, probably not. I was making good money, but I still probably shouldn't have bought it. I bought it. It was my dream car. Cool. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this isn't really what I care about. I think I bought this car to take photos of it because then it looks like I'm really living the life I want. I was doing things like that for a while. I'm like, that's not the answer.
Yep.
But I also was in an environment, and I don't blame companies or nothing. I was in an environment where I think the people around me also thought that was how we were supposed to do things. I was mimicking and then not feeling right. So I got this phase, and I know you probably did too, where you're like, I don't feel good about what I'm doing because I feel like I have to do this, and this isn't genuine. So I got into this weird spot where I'm like, this isn't genuine. How do I change it? And I know that's where you kind of got to, when you're like, it's time for me to do something different. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I always tell people, it's okay. You're not a tree. You can move. And it's okay to make changes. And I think for you, watching you over the last few years, like really transition and kind of adapt and overcome and take this small area that you're an expert in, and you blew it out. So before we talk about social stuff and fun stuff, I do want to talk about your digital agent, because that's fun too. And I want to talk about, what are you doing for people like me and some really big leaders, entrepreneurs everywhere? It's not just also marketing. I want to make sure people understand this is everyone. What can you do for them, and kind of tell us about it, because it's really interesting, and why is it working, and what are you doing behind the scenes too?
Sure. Yeah. So before we jump into that, I want to tell you, I just want to say, I think that what you were saying is something that, when I look back on my journey as an entrepreneur, something that I really can now connect with as I've matured in the industry of entrepreneurship as in a whole, is like, I did suffer a lot through the imposter syndrome, and I saw the top leaders who were making the tons of money, and they were showing all the luxury things. And that is what I started doing, because I thought, this is what you're supposed to do, right? Until I realized that, like, most people in my immediate circle alone, let alone my big circle, in my immediate, like, most of them, they related to me more through my failures. than they did through my massive successes, right? Like, it wasn't like most of them could relate to $50,000 check in a week's time, right? They couldn't relate to that. And like, so like talking to them, they couldn't understand it. They couldn't grasp it. It wasn't real to them. You know, it was like trying to explain the color green to someone who couldn't see. They couldn't grasp it, and I couldn't understand. I couldn't explain it to them correctly. So it's like, one of the things that you touched on that I think is just so big is like, people relate to our failures. Like, I busted my butt in the shower this morning, much more than I just went out and purchased $100,000 bids. Right. So I think that that was a huge eye opener for me and for anyone who's struggling with that. You know, just know that like, as you start to make money, money shows anyways, right? It doesn't have to be through the crazy designer, all this and designer, all that, because the trips with your family, people know how expensive those are, right? And like, those are the things that people want to relate to. People aren't sitting at home dreaming about, I hope in the next year I can buy a G-Wagon and fly on a private jet. That's not what they're sitting at home dreaming about, right? They're in their little world, Monday through Friday, la-da-da-da-da, you know, routine, 2 holidays a year, 2 vacations a year, whatever. They're not dreaming up these big dreams. What they're dreaming up is like, it would be really awesome if I could save enough money to take my family to Disney, right? Or it'd be really awesome if I could save enough money to take my family to the local theme park, right? So it's like, for me, that was a huge eye opener as I matured in the entrepreneurship industry, is like understanding that like, you don't have to be on a private jet to be successful. The most successful entrepreneurs that I know that have way more money than any of us, you know, they're hanging out in their Walmart t-shirts, because they're busy spending their time helping other people and growing what they already have. So, just wanted to touch on that, but jumping into digital marketing, I love digital marketing so much. It became my passion. I spend all day doing it with my team. You know, we help not only entrepreneurs, we help all brands. So we help boutiques, and we help med spas, and we help dentist office, and we help personal entrepreneurs, right? Like, we help any type of entrepreneur that there is out there grow their social media. We do that through multiple different things. We do that through growth campaigns where we can really leverage a celebrity or an influencer's audience to your page to get you more people watching you, right? It helps your credibility online. It helps your positioning online. We help our clients with PR. So we have gotten clients in Women's Health magazine. We even just recently got a client in Oprah magazine. So we help our clients really get in front of the public eye outside of social media as well. You know, just really helping entrepreneurs and brands establish what that means and what that looks like and what that's supposed to feel like, right? So really, you know, with all of our clients, and I would say probably in the past 2 years, we've serviced, I want to say 700 plus clients. You know, every client's different. Every client has a different story. Every client has a different past. Every client has a different goal, right? So it's really just developing a plan and a strategy. And we're firm believers in the fact that systems work and people fail. So we like to work a system for each of our clients to make sure that they're progressively growing their brand, growing their online identity, and outside of online, to get more eyes on themselves.
Mm-hmm. It really just come down to that. You know, we're working together on some things. You know, I have a book coming out in the next year, and people don't understand. And something I had to learn really quick is I never set up an email list way back in the day. And I had all the things to do it, but I'm like, oh, I don't have time for this. Now I'm like, why didn't I do that?
Right.
Because I have no emails.
Yep.
And, you know, starting that again is a big deal. So your business is also helping with that. And I think it's really important, like, to have quality emails. This isn't like, oh, here's a spam list and go spam. Yep. No. These are quality leads. These are quality people that are your niche, like yep. that like your brand. So the other thing you do is you make sure that you're not just slapping things in and giving random people that have like, these are really quality leads. These are quality people to follow you. Obviously, you can do smaller campaigns that might be big, that you know are maybe not going to be sticking to get your exposure out. It just depends on what your needs are, which I think is really important. You're not a cookie cutter deal. And I think knowing that you're getting personalized to your brand, to your needs is really important for people to hear as well. Because like I said, I have done a lot of things and I'm like, there's no return on it. And I feel like sometimes when you're in a space like this and people know you make money, it's easy to say, well, I can help you do this and I can help you do that. I'm like, really? I haven't seen you do it. Like, right. You can help me do it, then show me quick. Because I've had a lot of people do things where I'm like, that I just wasted my money. So I do want to express, like, this isn't one of those deals. Like, this is a deal where you get personalized, you get quality people, and they can kind of match it to what you're doing in your brand and where you're going with your business, because that's super important. Because you can't, people who understand one industry may not understand another. And that's the scary part. A lot of people come in and like, well, I know exactly what you need. They've never done MLM stuff. They've never been in my world. And they don't know what I need. You have to build relationships. How do you build relationships? You got to share stories. You got to tell stories. So it's just this intricate deal. And it's not that easy. Like, these influencers that get on and are just incredible, that's not easy.
No.
It's not. Like, I don't care if you like a Kardashian or not. What they did isn't easy. It took them 20 years. Now look at them. They're all billionaires. But it took them 20 years, y'all. And if you look back at where they started, they were charging up credit cards and they were in debt for a while to get to where they were. And now they created a massive brand that'll never go away, in my opinion. They did so many good things. But they're always the example when you look at Kylie, and what she did with her brand was nuts. Look at it.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Like, to have that is insane. So, all right. You have an incredible business. We are going to share the links to at the end. So we'll go back around to this because we're not done talking about kind of some more things you can do for people.
Sure.
So let's just talk about some things. Obviously, you and I have been friends. We have fun. We chat all the time. We, semi-work together in the past, sidelines and all that stuff. And you obviously help me now. But one of the things I think that we can talk about is that rise and fall of business people. When you see people who are making money, and we'll go back to this. One of the things that happens, and this is all over, and Jim Carrey had a great comment about it, is, can you imagine if you were a homeless person and somebody walked up with their phone, gave you a meal, and then recorded you because they needed to show that on their social media? That is not true charity.
Sure.
And what I see happening a lot, and this one is hard for me because what I'm supposed to do, and now I'm going to stick up for people on both sides.
Okay.
There are times where I'm like, I should show this, but I'm like, no, because that doesn't feel good. I don't feel good about it. Nobody needs to know that I'm doing a charitable thing or whatever I'm doing. Like, I give a lot without advertising it because I really don't want to in many ways. If there's something that people need to see, like, hey, we're doing a backpack dive right now. So obviously I posted it. That helps bring more people in. But when you're doing something with true charity, I see a lot of people recording, making videos, how fabulous it was, doing all the things for if it's a homeless person or a family. And it's like, how do you feel about that? Because I actually agree with Jim Carrey. Like, we need to think about the other person here. Because if I was down and out and you came up to me with your car or your video with 5 other people and you're like, here's a meal. What's your name? And I'm getting recorded. I'd be like, please don't.
Sure.
I want the meal, yes, but don't do that to me. I think we need to remember these people are people.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to be here.
Right.
Well,
I follow exactly what you're saying, man. I completely agree with you. I think that there is a fine line when it comes to charity. I think that, most of your big brands, most of your big entrepreneurs are donating to charity either out of the goodness of their heart or for taxes. You could just be 100% honest.
Yeah,
no. Either way, the charity is winning, so it's a good thing regardless. I think here's kind of where personally I draw the line on those things, and again, this is personal. Everyone has a different opinion, and that's okay. Is I do things for charity a lot around Christmas time because Christmas is my favorite time of year, right? I'm like, I want to just give because I love doing it. Right. So there have been multiple times where I have paid off layaways. Right. And I would say out of like the 6 Christmases or 5 Christmases, I've done it about ever since I've been making good money as a network or as an entrepreneur. I think I've posted about it maybe twice. And when I post about it, it's to show people that they can turn their dream machine back on and they can do more than just what they're doing. It's not just about being able to donate at church on Sunday. Right? Like, turn your dream machine on and think about donating on a way bigger capacity, like blessing people with Christmas. But when I'm blessing these people, 1, I don't know who they are, right? And 2, they're certainly not getting shown on my social media as oh, Dustin just bought our Christmas, right? I don't know them. They don't know me. I literally don't even know whose layaway I'm paying off, right? Versus going up to someone on the road or even in a setting, you know, like I see it a lot of times, even with entrepreneurs online. It's like they'll bless someone on their team by like paying their mortgage or something. And even there, I feel like it's maybe a little bit embarrassing to that person that's getting their mortgage paid. Whereas on a big capacity, if you're doing a backpack drive, right, or you're serving at the local soup kitchen, or you're giving charity in a sense where no one's getting singled out,
Right.
right? No one is lesser than the other. It's just one person helping another, and we don't know who's who, right? Like the person's layaway that I bought, they have no idea. And I don't need that credit because I already have the feeling of like, oh my God, this felt so amazing. I don't know who I just blessed, but my gosh, when they come in to pay this bill and they realize there's not a bill, because they won't let you completely pay off the layaway. You have to leave 1 cent owed, right? So when they come in, they find out I owe 1 penny for my layaway on Christmas. Like that to me is enough, right? Like, and if I post about it, it's to turn people's dream machine back on, not because we're calling out whoever's getting it, because I'm 100% with you. Like I couldn't imagine, I would personally be mortified to videotape that. I would feel so embarrassed even saying, can I video this? Like, I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know?
I think so too. And again, there's good charitable. And I understand where some of it, yeah, it's inspiring. I like that you say dream machine because there was a long time in there where I quit dreaming. I remember when I first started making money on a level where I was like, holy cow, I can help people with this. And I'm the giver. Like I actually, I always got yelled at, like you don't need to donate to this all the time. And I'm like, yes, I got that from my grandma. But I'm like, oh, I gotta do this and this and this. And I think for me, there was some things where I'm like, wow, that is so cool that I have the ability to, like you said, pay off a mortgage or okay. Here's the other thing. One of my favorite posts that I ever posted is I got super real about 2 years ago. I said, hey, I finally paid my taxes. And it was like 2018 or 17. And I'm like, it's 2019. Oh, great back. Like I was like, hey, got some big money coming in. We got big taxes. And I was behind. And there were tons of entrepreneurs. I think we were at an event. And one of them came up to me and he goes, I freaking love that post because most people don't know they can say that. And a lot of people who are making money are scared to say, well, I'm a little behind on my taxes. Yeah, I make a lot of money. Well, it's very hard to keep up, try to do all the things. And you're like, money's coming in, money's coming out. And we got really behind for a couple of years, but you can't get behind because you don't get out of it. And we had to make some serious changes. And we finally got ahead of it. It took a long time. That's the other part of the journey, Dustin. Let's talk about that. I love that you're on this. It's easy. It's fun. I made a lot of money mistakes and I made a lot of because of what I thought I was supposed to do. We come back to this. We kind of look at what other people do and we're like, well, that's how we're supposed to be. And then we get caught up in this game. And there was another thing I read the other day, like this guy has designer clothes, sleeps in his Mercedes and he's homeless because he wants to look the part, but he has no money. And this is going on all over. You people broke trying to look the part.
Oh, yeah.
And listen, billionaires and a lot of the people I know making lots of money, they don't look like they make a lot of money. That doesn't mean they don't drive nice cars. They look like garbage. It means they don't worry about the designer shoes and they don't think about that. They're busy. Like, talk about that money game and kind of how was your experience when you first started making money with taxes with like, that's a lot of responsibility. And a lot of people do not know how to handle it. I'll be honest. Good people.
Well, I think that I kind of fell into the same thing you were saying. I think I made a lot of in looking back on it now, wrong money moves. It's not only did I see other people doing the big things and I thought I needed to do those things because that's what the people above me were doing. Right. Two, the things that they were doing were really fun, right? So I was having the time of my life, right? But blowing through a lot of money. But I think more than anything, what it was is like when you first come into money, it doesn't matter if it took 18 years or if it took 18 months. When you first come into money, you're coming into it. And when you come into money, you come into lots of other people, right? And you come into people coming out of the woodworks and wanting to borrow money and needing money. And you all of a sudden you have all these people that are looking at you. And most people, again, whether it's taking them 18 years or 18 months, they don't have the mentorship yet. And instead of pausing and being like, okay, wait a second, I just made $250,000. Okay, what should I? They're like, just spay me and doing all the things because they haven't hit the brakes yet. They haven't like been through that couple, experienced it yet. So they're going through that honeymoon phase of like, I'm just now making money and it feels good and I can do whatever I want and I can pay off this and I can pay for all these people and I can loan money and they're just throwing it away, right? Not knowing if that money is going to stay around. Kind of like we talked about, I have seen plenty of entrepreneurs and even me myself, I have rode the curve of making tons to making none, making tons to making halfway decent, to making lots, to making, like there's this roller coaster as an entrepreneur where it's not ever guaranteed. Here one day, gone the next. And I think that when you first come into it, if there's any advice I can give anyone, when you first come into money, yeah, it's okay for it to be about Gucci. If you want to go buy some Gucci, if you made the money, like if you want to go reward yourself and take your family out of luxury vacation, please do so. But I also advise you to hit the brakes after a month or two and get some help. We need coaches in all aspects of your life. If I didn't have a financial coach right now, I would be dead broke. And that's just a fact because I was never taught in business school and college how to handle money, large amounts of money. I was taught how to balance a checkbook, right? And what were assets and what were liabilities. Okay, well, crap, right? I need to know like how much money should I be putting back? Like, how can I trust an accountant that I don't know? And, there's so many things. And I think that that's the biggest piece of advice I would give people is just take a minute. Don't hand out a single other dime to a store, to a family member, to no one. Take a minute to find someone who's further along than you in their financial career. Maybe it's someone within your business or someone that that's another entrepreneur that can guide you in the right direction. What I find with successful entrepreneurs, they're not always sitting around trying to make money off of each other, right? We're like in this basket of like, let's help each other, right? Like, who's your accountant? Talk me through it. Who's your lawyer? Talk me through it. Who's your, and we have these resources as you come into more money, but you have to make sure you come into the right resources and really take an audit of who's there because the givers are the ones that have to set the boundaries because the takers do not.
Right. Oh my God. That's so true. That is so true. And I think it's important, like, we don't talk about it a lot. Like, yeah, I know to balance my checkbook, but I didn't know, like, what I could write off. Everyone thinks they know what they can write off. It's like, you can write that.
No idea.
No. You can't write everything off. And also, you know what you're doing, you're going to get audited. And that happened to me one year. That was really
Gosh.
but we survived it because we had an accountant and we did things right, but we still had to pay a little bit more because we were, and I'm like, I'm going to get my poop in a group. And this year is the year I did it, but I'm 40. Like, don't wait. Don't. And like what Dustin's saying is there are people ask, like, I was afraid of money. Like, I was afraid to say, I don't understand any of this. Like, I didn't. I'm good at making it. I'm not good at understanding investing. But that's something that you have to learn. And so I had to learn, and I am learning, and I'm green about smart investments and what's going to help me at the end of the year and what's going to help throughout and actually have a plan in place where I'm not just blowing through every single thing I make. And I'm like, what did I do with it? Like that happens to a lot of good people. And it doesn't matter your age or anything. It is a real serious thing. So, okay. As we kind of wrap up this last part of it, this last year or two with you and I have become a lot closer. So our relationship has grown, which is wonderful. I love collaborating with all social media and all the things. And so we were in the health and wellness space. Now you've been in that space for a while. I think you came from a company that was weight loss. Is that correct?
Yep.
First company you're ever in.
Yep. Weight loss.
Yep. And so a very popular company. And while there, you jumped into another health and wellness. And then you kind of went into something else and kind of let it go. And now you're doing this. Is there ever a day and time that you think you'll ever come back into network marketing?
I have nothing but love for the industry in my heart. I am an entrepreneur through and through. But more than anything, I am a people person. And I love working with women. I love working with girls. I love taking people from zero, helping people go from zero to hero along with their work combined with mine. I love the industry. I truly, truly do. My eyes are very open. I think that I've experienced a lot in the industry, very, very, very good, like monumental things and like real nasty things, right? Because with every industry, there is really, really good and really, really nasty, right? So I think that I've experienced both ends of it. Do I think I'll ever be back in the industry? I would never, ever, ever say I'll never do network marketing again, because that's a crock. Because I know the power of it and I love it. I think it's so fun. Is it work? Excuse me. Yes, it's work. But more than anything, what I love the most about network marketing is like, with my digital marketing agency, I'm mostly helping people who already have extra money, who've already tasted some success in the industry, or who are already massively successful, because it costs money to invest in our company, right? Where with network marketing, I can go to my cousin who's broke and help them really create a future and really show them a real business model that most people don't understand, right? And even there are lots of top leaders at all network marketing companies who are making crazy money, but they couldn't tell you about their compensation plan if they had to, right? When I go into a company, I learn the compensation plan because I have no shame saying I'm in this business to make money. It's a business. Helping my friends feel better and helping my friends make money, that's the cherry on top, right? But this is a business, so I'm in it for financial gain, right? So I've always been very honest about that. So with network marketing, it's like, I love the fact that you get to take people with you, the people that are willing to go with you, right? Like, I don't drag anyone along, but the people who are willing to step up and put in the work and show up and be there and do the things, that's what I love about network marketing. So is it off the table? Absolutely not.
I always like asking that, but here's where we'll go with this before we wrap. You love helping women, which is another reason that we are friends, because my passion shifted quickly in this industry when I saw this huge area of women empowerment. And now people see that and they're like, oh, feminism, and it's on, everybody's empowering them. Like, it's not what I mean. When I say women empowerment, I mean bringing a woman who has never experienced making her own money or has been struggling for years and years, and watching them create a side income or a big income, watching them take their family on vacation, watching them pay off debt, watching them do things. And I also, there's a flip of this. I do believe in a partner as well. It's great to have a partner, but not everyone does. And when I see a woman who's married, even better, because it's like, now you get to bring in this other piece, and maybe they always have, maybe they haven't. And you've got two really nice, and sometimes it's the man. The man comes in network marketing. You have great men in network marketing. But it's the biggest blessing, and I think you can understand this, is when you see these young women, and older too. Older women are so much fun as well, because you're giving them this new life. Like, look what I'm doing. But to see women go in, get confident, start speaking up, starting to be themselves. And when they can dream again, women are creators. We are creative at heart. And so it's wonderful to have a man come into a woman's world and be, number one, safe. Like, you created a safe environment for women. You are super supportive. And I think that's another reason you did really well, because network marketing is majority is women. Because you were a safe place, because you were a gentle soul, and because you knew how to embrace that network, you crushed it. So I love that you love helping the women, and I think that's one of the reasons you're one of the best that's ever been in network marketing. And no, you really are. You put a big dent into this world, and you're still young. So I think that's really important. Not just network marketing, I would say in entrepreneurship. And that's where you work. And so I'm telling you guys, you got to get on board with it. If you want that stability, your women are the foundation. And that's why you see a lot of men who really get it. They're at the top, but I'm like, look at how many leaders you have that are women. Mostly. So it's like, they figured it out. And if you can be that safe place, and if you can really embrace the women part of it, you can crush. So we have a couple more minutes. Let's talk about how people can find you.
Sure.
And we're gonna throw your links up, but what's your next project? What is like on your radar right now? What's fresh and new for people that maybe you can offer on here?
Sure.
And then we'll make sure they can find you.
Sure. So we've got some massive growth campaigns coming up. We're working with Emma Roberts. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's from American Horror Story, massive A-list celebrity. We have a few other growth campaigns going on, some international based. If your countries are, or if your businesses are just within the States, cool. We have niche down for you. We have people outside of the States as well. We have tons of PR packages going on right now where we can help you get in magazines, online articles, print articles, all of it. And then some side projects that I'm working on secretly. But I'll be coming out with here really soon on my social media, just once I get all the contracts and stuff done. More investment type stuff. So for your people who, are a little bit further along in their journey and have some investment money to spend, but it's just kind of sitting stagnant in their bank account. We have some really cool stuff coming up with e-commerce that I'm really excited to share. But I'm the type of person where I had to do mine first and I had to make sure everything went the way that they said it was going to go. And I had to make sure that, all the pieces fit and we're there. So we're just finalizing some things there. So keep an eye out there. You can find me Dustin_Bland on Instagram, Dustin Bland on Facebook. I'm excited. I love this. I could stay here and talk to you all day long. We can literally talk about every single topic that there is to talk about, because I feel like really honestly, between the two of us, we've been through it. Like things that people who've been in an entrepreneur for 20 years haven't been through the things that we've been through. And while some of them were great, some of them suck, they all made us where we are, right? I know that there's so much stuff that we're still going to need together. I'm just rambling.
I know, but the sucky stuff makes you better. And it shows you how you've grown too. When you get hit with it again, I think it was Louise Hayes who said, it's boulder. When you run into the boulder again, it's not that it's not going to happen. It's how you handle the boulder being in the middle of the road. And I think it just shows us where we need to improve, and it shows us where we've grown. And to see the growth in you in 2 years, and I know I've grown like in so many ways, just through trauma, through pain.
Sure.
And I think we had to go through a lot of that stuff. But to come out in such a blessed way and be like happy and loving, I mean, that's the best way to come out. You don't want to come out bitter and pissed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, there was times I was, I've gone through some things where I'm like, I burn it all. Like, burn the house down. But then you're like, no, I don't want to do that, because I really like what I do. And we all go through it as business owners. You have really great days and you have really rough days. And honestly, sometimes it's more rough. And I wish people would understand that, hey, you're going to go into this, you're going to have some hard times. It's going to make you better. Just get through it.
Yeah.